Hello everybody, here it is. I finally got Abigail Basson, number 51 from Killarney, our fastest lady on a bike here. Finally, and also our first interview at the studio here in Bloberg. Abby, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Jason. I really, really appreciate it.
No problem. Look, I know it was a little bit difficult weekend for you this weekend with the racing.
Oh, yes. Let me not even speak about it. But let me tell you
How was
how it
Friday?
went.
Let's start with Friday.
Okay, let's start on Thursday because it all starts on Thursday. So Thursday, my car breaks down on the way to practice. So no practice for me. Then Friday comes around. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll do the last practice and then qualifying. Practice comes around. I crash my bike with the new fairings, everything. And then race day, we got everything sorted. Thank you to Project 60 SA for that.
I think you probably gave Uncle Alan a big hug.
Oh, yes. I bought him a chocolate the next day. And then, yeah, race one. So I was leading. It was a wet race. I was leading. And then we underestimated how much fuel we needed. So I ran out of fuel on track on the last lap.
But before we go to the race, let's go back. Okay, you had an issue with the car. What actually happened with the car, first of all?
I don't know, it just died. So we sent it in. We're still waiting to hear back.
And then Friday, you obviously had a little bit of a spill. What exactly? Talk us through. I know it was extremely wet on Friday.
Yes.
I mean, it was bucketing down. I still remember doing interviews with the guys in the Formula Supercars, and I was freezing because I've got my big jacket on.
Yeah, so what happened was I really like wet tracks. So I would say I'm pretty good in the wet compared to when I'm in the dry. But it's just a whole different world when you're racing in the wet. So what happened was I was pushing a little bit too hard and I forgot to blip between changing down 2 gears. So it's like you change one, blip, change the next. And I forgot to do that. And literally in a straight line going into turn 2, my front just gave out. So lost the front, slid down the straight into the gravel. There was nothing
This was turn 2, eh?
Yeah, turn 2.
So straight on into over the South African flag.
Yes, over everything into the grass.
I think I was sitting trackside at the time and I just heard Alan and Uncle Chev go, oh no.
They could literally hear me come sliding down the straight with the hear all the way. And then my mom's like, oh, Abby went down.
I'm sure you talk about moms and stuff like that. Moms always stressed, but after a while they're just your first one they're all panicky, the second one they're not so panicky.
Trust me, my mom's been through the worst, so she knows.
So the first race, unfortunately, you ran enough fuel. Now you pulled the bike in. Second race, how did that go?
And then second race, so it was completely dry track. I've only had 2 sessions before that on the 615, the dry. So I was still getting used to the bike. I had to learn the bike, learn setup. The setup was wrong. So it was a lot of things headed up against me, but I still managed to get 3rd place, which I was very proud about. So taking into account everything that happened over the weekend, there's a lot of positives that I can take from it, which is really nice.
Good. That's good. I saw the bike today. It looks like it's becoming a little bit more together.
A little bit.
All right, let's jump into it. Okay, so we've got some questions over here. Let's just start off with your first time you're riding a bike. So how did you get into biking? You don't find too many lady races on track. So how did you get into it?
Okay, so my mom and dad both raced. And then what happened was when I was really small, so 3 or 4 years old, my dad was okay, Pee Wee 50 time. And then he used to hook a rope around the Pee Wee 50 and take me on walks while I go and try ride the Pee Wee. So yeah, that's where I first started riding. And then
Can you remember if you ever yanked you off?
I can't. I was so young back then. I just remember when I broke my arm on it.
By the way, this is one of many. We've had a conversation before, so we'll get to some other arm breakage. This is the first one, right, ladies and gentlemen, the first
one.
All right. So that was the first time. So Pee Wee 50 is where you started, which is generally where everyone starts. I know I saw a picture of you on that little pocket bike as well.
Oh, yes. For a little bit, but it was mostly just the Pee Wee 50.
And then we get on to the big old bag, as I like to call it. So apparently you nagged your mom so much
to
go racing. You probably nagged her into submission, right?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. So for 2 years straight, so my mom, she raced as well. So she did the 8-hour endurance race. And now I was like, back then they used to have the NSFs on display, like during practices, everything, because the NSFs would also ride. So it's like, I used to go to the track and then just look at the bikes for hours at a time. And I was like, I want one. And then eventually, like, I just gave up. Like, I told my mom, I'm not going to go watch you race if you don't want to let me race. So
and how old are you then?
I was like 8 years old. I'm like, no, I want to ride those bikes.
I'm staying at home. I'm not coming with you. I am responsible enough to stay at home because you won't let me race. So I'm staying at home.
And then, yeah, so I stayed. The one time I stayed with like my uncle, I think. And then she went, did practice, and then she came back and she's like, no, like we're going to go test out the bike. Yo, by the end of that testing, I had my number, I had my fairings, I had everything. I was sorted. I was like, when's my next race?
I've been voice noting your mom, and your mom said to me, she's like, I really thought like after she drove the NS 150, maybe she wouldn't like it. She's like, oh, 10 years later, we're still racing. So.
Yeah, it never ended.
Never ended, doesn't stop. All right, so that was obviously on the NS 150. Did you win the championship with that or anything?
So I was always second or third. So when I started racing, Slade was racing and David Lindemann. Yeah, David's now in British Superbikes. Yeah. It's insane. But yeah, so I was always like kind of second best to them, which was like really upsetting sometimes. But it would always be Slade and then me or David behind him.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so I never won a championship, just won like a couple of races here and there.
Okay. Then next question I was going to ask you is, apparently you enjoy with a couple of other guys going around Killarney racetrack, like the rest of all them, like Slade, like my other mates Carl, even me. And you like to what we call, I think it was hop on a bit of cuck.
Yes. Yes,
so talk me through. I heard you on a Honda Buzz and I think you chipped a tooth or something like that.
Yeah, so the first time was on a pit bike. So, you know, you can't really put 3 people on a pit bike, but we made it happen. And then I was right at the back. So around Killarney, there's some speed bumps and we hit one of those speed bumps and I went off the bike. So I fell face first into the tar, chipped my tooth, grazed my knees, ran to my mom, not even crying. Mm-hmm. I was just like, look, my tooth is chipped. Yeah, so...
I'm laughing big time though, because like, I think it's like a rites of passage for everyone who does motorbike racing in Killarney apparently. So they did the same thing. They said the first jump, they did 1 person, but they put 2 people. Like, we should try 3. Like, why? What is motorbikes are not designed for 3 people unless you're the sidecar.
Hey, we push the limits on and off the track.
I mean, I can't say either. I mean, I think we took a couple of laps around Killarney as well, like 4 guys on a scooter, because we were too lazy to walk. So it happens, and then speed bumps happen as well.
Exactly.
But that's not your only crash you had. You've had another one also off track as well.
Yes. So what happened was we went to the track, and then this guy was like, no, if you can kickstart this old Honda, I think it was like a DT250. Older than I am. It's probably like 30 years old. And then he's like, no, if you can kickstart this thing, you can ride it around. So you know what I did for the next 30 minutes? I tried to kickstart the thing. Eventually I got it started. I was like, time to have fun. So I was kind of fast, like speeding a little bit here and there, up and down. And then next moment, this car forgot to put his indicator on. So like,
is that the excuse going with?
No, literally, that's what happened. So me and my little shorty shorts, don't ever wear shorts when you're riding a bike, was literally trying to overpass him. He turned straight in front of me, straight into the bonnet. There, I flew straight over. And the funniest thing was...
That's the picture I got of your leg, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Burnt. I still have the scar. It's still there. But what happened was I wasn't alone on the bike. So there was this huge guy who was like walking and he asked me, he's like, no, give me a lift and everything. He was back. So he flew over with me as well. So while we laying there, he still asked me, he's like, no, can we go have coffee sometime? I was like, no. You bad luck. Thank you very much.
Next time, bud. Move on. Shame if you're listening to that, bud. Sorry, you
Yeah,
didn't stand a
sorry.
chance. Next one. Okay, cool. So then you moved with NS 100. You got onto like the 150 for the juniors.
Yes.
Now 150s is like, if anyone knows, that's what they race the 8 hour with. It's probably the most competitive when it comes to short circuit.
True.
What did you learn there? Like, you must have learned quite a bit. Like,
So I learned quite a bit. So especially technique wise, like NSFs could teach you a lot, but the 150s, it was so easy to throw around and so forgiving sometimes. So it's like you learned a lot of technique skills there, that how to get off the brakes straight onto the gas, those things, especially with the 150. It's not the fastest bike. So you literally have to just get every ounce of power out of that bike, whether it's in a corner, whether it's in a straight, you just have to push it. And it's insane racing.
so what age did you jump onto the 150s?
So I was quite young still. I think I was 10 years old. So I was 10, 11 years old. So what I did is I raced both. I raced NSFs and 150s for a year. And then I moved over to 150s immediately. Then I was racing 150s until I was about 16, so quite a long time. But then on that, I went to 300s as well.
Okay.
And
So
stuff.
300s as well.
Yes.
With regards to the 150s, like speaking to a couple of the other guys who race 150s, they always say you have your biggest falls on the 150s.
Oh, let me tell you about that. So why I actually gave up racing 150s was because of this massive fall. It was a 2-hour endurance race. So I came out of cut through. There was this,
Okay, this is a short circuit, not the
short
karting track.
circuit.
Okay, cool.
On the half main. So come out of cut through, the slower rider, instead of like staying in his line, he moved over. So it was either I take him out, and me out, or I have to grab brakes and then
You grab the
So I grabbed the brakes.
Front brakes, yep.
Yeah, and then I thought I would just stuck the front, and I was like, that didn't happen. It literally threw me over like Superman.
High side.
And then massive high side. So I was flying for a bit, and then as I landed on my hip. So what happened is it tenderized the tendon, but pulled it at the same time. So it really injured my hip. So it was a couple of months, no walking, physio. It was so bad. And after that, I was like, I just didn't have the confidence again to get on a 150. Now and then I'd ride it, but I wouldn't race it again.
Okay. And then you moved to the 300s there.
Yes.
So let's talk about your 300s. I know you first started with a 390.
Yes. So I
know you've got a love for the KTM 390.
Oh, no. Let's not speak about that KTM. No, so I started when I was 14. We had to do tests and get signatures, because you're only allowed to be on main circuit if you're 16 and above. Okay. So we had to go through all these little tests and getting signatures saying that I can ride and stuff like that. And then finally I started with the KTM 390. And let me tell you, the amount of times I flipped that bike out of turn 3 is, I can't even count it on my hands. No.
I think it gets to a stage where you're riding a bike and then you lose complete confidence in it and everything.
Exactly. And it's turn 3, because I crashed so much times.
Turn 3 is quite a tight corner in the sense of, when you go off, it's not much of a run off. I mean, a lot of guys have been bitten there, and the bikes are coming. Trevor Weston's one, you got the bike back on him as well. I've seen a couple, my friend of mine, Bradley Finn, who races for Pro, he's spun out there in the car. It's a tricky little.
It's really bad, especially with there's some bumps in that corner. So it's if you don't hit it right, it's so easy for your back to jump out. And then it's you'd slide, but as soon as you hit that grass, because you're going so fast, it just starts flipping, and it's the worst feeling ever, because you look over and you see your bike, and you're it's going ching, ching, ching.
Yeah, that's the son of the money coming out your wallet.
Yeah.
So you went up to the 390, but I want to go back to something. You said your mom raced as well, and your dad raced.
Yes.
What did they race? How did that start?
So my mom, she started racing. They used to have the 2-stroke 50cc's. Yeah. So she used to ride the 50s around, and then she went on to motards as well. Okay. She loved the motards.
That was something you raced, I think, 2 weekends ago as well.
Yes, the motards. So that was actually my first time on a motard. So Back then, oh, it's amazing. It's
Face went
amazing.
dead seriously. I was
Yeah,
like, what?
it's amazing. No, back then though, the motors, they had the motocross track and then the circuit track. So you literally went off the circuit onto the motocross, did it, and then came back onto the track, which is so insane. Now, unfortunately, they don't have it, but if
it was
they
where
did,
the embankment is actually now.
yes,
They used to be
where
actually
that
like a
big
mini
hill is.
motocross track, so you
Yes.
could do both. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they actually came off like a 2 meter platform and then a flat, and then carried
Yeah.
it down. I remember that. That was actually quite exciting.
I know, right? There's so many memories of me on my little push bike going down there. Even though I've fallen so many times, crashing down those hills, but I used to love
my memories of that when I was growing up was the backside. They never used to have the big embankments, never had the big
Oh,
grass. There
yes.
actually was a bit of the river used to run there, so we used to go play like
Oh, wow.
clay light, like put some
Yes.
clay in, like we come back full of mud.
I love that.
Parents look at me like, oh, what's going on? Dad's like, just leave them alone. Mom's like, oh no.
Yeah. And then my dad, so he raced everything. Like, so he used to do enduros and he used to ride motards, and then he was on the bigger bikes, and then he was 150s, and then eventually his doctor told him like, no more racing bikes. So he went on to race cars.
That's the general progression. You know, if I can't race cars, then I'll race planes. You know?
Exactly.
What's the next thing?
Yeah, so he used to ride stock cars. He was in the little, whatchamacallit,
Minis.
not the minis. They have the side fairings. Okay, but on another note, the stock cars. But yeah, he used to race those. Sorry. And then yeah, he had the fastest stock car out of them all, because what he did is he put a Hayabusa motor inside.
Oh, okay. That's also, I don't know what class it is now.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's a bit of my dad's racing, and then my mom.
Do you see yourself ever getting into a car to do car racing or not?
I would like to try it. It seems so easy. It's like bumper cars, but like on an expensive budget.
So if you had to choose a class at Kalani, which one would you?
Oh, definitely the GTI challenge. I feel like
that's rubbing is racing there.
Exactly.
Rubbing is racing there. All right, so we can carry on here. I know we talked about the big crashes and stuff like that, but let's get to some of the questions that I really want to ask you. You represented Africa, actually, not even South Africa, Africa in the Intercontinental Games.
Oh,
so I know we were all super proud when we actually try to find things to watch you live and stuff like that. Your first race went over was Imola, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So talk us through that. I mean, like, how did that come about? How did you get there? Obviously by playing, but like, talk us through.
Okay, so what happened was the year before, I met this guy, Paul. Paul. And then what he did is he's like, no, if we're interested, he can see if there's any wildcard rides. And then like half a year later, we never heard from him again. So like in my mind, like I was like, okay, never mind. It's just someone just saying something again. It was like getting my hopes up. I was like, okay, it's probably not going to happen. End of that year, he's like, okay, we got 2 wildcard rides up. So the one I couldn't do because I was writing prelims back then, but then the second one, Imola, I could do.
So with regards to prelims, we had a chat about that, and I was actually quite disappointed to hear that. Like, motor racing in South Africa, and especially around the world, and especially like in Spain and those in Europe, is such a huge sport. And a lot of people, I don't know if like the schools look down upon it here in South Africa, but they said that you couldn't get special permission representing not just the country, but the whole continent. She wasn't allowed permission to go racing, to not ride a prelims on another day because of that. And I just think that that is just a load of absolute, and I'm going to say shit. Like, come now, please. Like, education departments, if they even listen to this, that you cannot allow that. If someone's representing their country and continent, please let them write their prelims on a different day. Like,
exactly.
and we're not talking about finals. This is prelims, guys. Like, it's.
I know. Yeah. So like, if it was finals, I would have been like, okay, I understand. But like prelims, I was so upset about it. Like, even the day that I wrote my test, I was like, yo, guys.
I could be racing.
I could be racing. I could be over in Italy right now.
There's like nothing worse. It's like, well, sit here, write an exam, or go race.
Yeah.
Well, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
So you went over to Imola.
Yes.
And you flew what, direct?
No, so I stopped over in Ethiopia. Back then I was 17. So I went up alone. Like, my mom couldn't get like enough money for her to go over, so I went over alone. Yeah, it was my first international flight. It was scary, but like it wasn't that scary. As soon as I was on the plane, I was like, oh, new world. I love this. So I arrived, I went through Ethiopia, then I went to Rome, Bologna, and then took the train to Misano, where we took the car to Imola, which was really nice. But funny thing on that train, it's like when I landed, I didn't think about my baggage, right? So I had 3 roller bags and only one of me. So now I have to try to get all these bags through like the train terminals, and like my phone's on 1%, my tablet was like 30 or something percent, 20-30%. I was like, okay, cool. Let me just send the screenshot to my iPad, like so that I can show my ticket. Literally with all this baggage, I struggled so much. And then eventually
Gold travels light, eh?
no, I packed everything for every occasion, every weather. No, so then I eventually got onto the train, and like I'm so used to with the trains, like in South Africa. So I had my bags around me. I was ready for anyone to take my bags. Everyone else was sleeping. I was like, okay, this is how it is here. And then eventually, like just before my iPad died, like they came and scanned the code for the train ticket. Like they work on such a different system. It's like a massive culture shock. And then eventually got to Misano. Now I don't have anything to tell the people I'm staying with that I'm there. So now I'm like running around with these 3 bags, trying to find a taxi.
But they know you like they probably were told like there's this African lady coming through.
See,
not
they
expecting,
didn't even
not
tell.
expecting her looking like this.
And then I was like, okay, let me find like a taxi or something. And it's like eventually I find this dude with like this van, which is kind of sketchy now that I say it. But I'm like, I pull out my change and I'm like, charge phone,
Please.
And then eventually, like, he was a taxi dude, thankfully. So he took me to the place, and by then my phone was charged. So I was like, okay, guys, I'm here. It was like as if nothing happened, and they just continued on with my day.
All right, so we go from there. We land up at
Yes.
track. So now you obviously not racing your own bike. So explain to us how does the bikes work? Because I mean, you're representing Africa.
So this in Imola was the Women's European Cup. So like we weren't representing the continent, we were representing the country.
Okay.
So I kind of knew this one girl from South Africa, Jessica Howden. So it's like she was in the same team as me, which was so thankful for that because she kind of helped me around. Those bikes are so different. Like I'm used to low, cheap budget bikes. Like anything that can ride, that's what I ride. And then it's like going over there, everything is kitted out. Like even the one time, like I tried to hold my bike so that they can put on the stand, and they went off at me in Italian. I was so scared. I was like, okay, let me not touch the bike then.
It's my bike to ride, but don't park it.
Don't anything. It's like you have to just sit there. They do everything for you. It was like massive because I'm like, I need a help. Like, and they're like, no, sit.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
We've got this.
So that was like also kind of a shock, and those bikes are amazing.
What bikes exactly were you riding?
So it was an R3 as well, compared to my R3, it was a total different bike. Like the way it felt, the way it goes. So it had a slipper clutch as well, but they never told me that. And also I never raced with a slipper clutch before that. So it's like, they only told me after the race. They were like, listen here, why didn't you use the slipper clutch? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Since we just did that. Yeah. And they were like, no, next time. But like I made so many friends there as well. A lot of them went to
with regards to the bike, like what were you allowed to change? Like that's what like So everyone's got the same R3 essentially,
Yes.
just your race number is on there.
No, so back then it was the same as any 300. So
Okay.
Kawasaki, you had KTMs, you had Yamaha. I'm not too sure what their rules were, but it's quite similar to Kalani, where it's like you have your set rules. If you break it, you're disqualified.
Okay.
But also they had very strict rules on our racing suit. So if you didn't have your back protector and airbag, chest protector, and all those things, they would disqualify you for it. It's like you had to have everything. Thankfully, Jessica had an extra airbag, like this little vest thing that I could borrow from her. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to race.
Did you employ it?
No, I didn't.
So you
Thankfully,
didn't feel the pop.
thankfully, I didn't. I didn't.
All right. And then, okay, talk us through the racing. Like, you obviously was it one
Yes.
race for the day? Was it two?
So it was only one race, but we had a lot of practice days coming up. I actually crashed on that track.
Okay.
I think it was my second session. So now I'm like getting ballsy. I'm like, okay, let me start pushing it. But now there's like no bumps or little patches on the track. And I was so used to Kalani has bumps and patches that I use as my brake markers. So there you had to look at the actual brake marker boards. So it's like there's this massive downhill and then like a double left-hander. So it's like you're going flat out down that hill. And like I checked the brake marker and I'm like, no, don't worry. I don't need a brake now. I had to brake then. I had to brake then. It's like as soon as I grab on brakes, drop like 3 gears, and then my front went in and my back started lifting. And I was like, okay, cool, got it settled eventually. And then as I tipped in, just lost the front.
Cheers, washed out.
Yeah, just straight into the kitty litter. It's like that's what they call the gravel there. And I was just white with that dust because there it's dusty. That kitty litter is not the best place to crash.
It's designed to stop Formula One cars and 1000cc motorcycles.
I know, exactly.
When you dive in there, you slow down pretty quick.
Yeah. So it's like, and then after that, we brought the bike in. Literally 10 minutes later, new fairings on, new tires. They're busy cleaning that thing with a toothbrush. I was like, what are these people doing? Busy cleaning like the shocks with the toothbrush. I was so shocked. I was like, okay, you guys do what you want.
Go ahead, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, and then the next day, so just before qualifying, we also had like a free practice. And then what happens? My chain breaks. And now I'm like, fuck, my gearbox just went. I always go for like the worst answers. So I was like, okay, shit, my chain went. I stand up, but now I'm like right next to pit lane wall. And it's not a long, it's a super long, like straight. So I'm like, I have to push my bike all the way to the entrance, then all the way up pit lane to my team because like they didn't see that I'm busy pushing my bike. So it's like, and it's like humid there. And I think the weather was like 30 degrees or something. So it's like, I'm hot in my leathers, busy pushing this bike. No one's helping me.
No.
They're just looking at me and I'm like, guys, I'm dying.
It'll help you.
Literally.
It'll help you.
Yeah, but thankfully the race went really well. So I had an awful start. Their lights go off so much quicker than here. Like here, you kind of wait. There's like on off. So it's like I was still busy getting ready. Meanwhile, everyone went off. So I essentially started from the back. Anyway, made myself up to 13th place overall and then 10th place in the WEC, so the Women's European Cup, which is great. Like my goal was top 10 and I got that top 10 in the Women's European Cup. They had the CIV, but they were allowed to run Pirelli, so it was kind of unfair compared to us on Dunlops. And then my race time was top 6 space, which I was so proud about.
So you obviously
Loved
had to fight
it.
away from the back, so it's
Exactly.
Then you got another offer to go through to Jerez.
Yes.
So now this is the Intercontinental
Yes.
Games where you represented Africa.
Yes.
And this is your helmet that you raced there, correct? Right? So if you all can see there, little FIM. So that was the sponsors all around. And that was your sponsor as well, eh?
Yes,
Yeah.
so Tika.
So yeah, very nice little helmet. You don't get these here, by the way, guys. This is a full import.
Yeah.
You can see inside here. Got the pull tags. Very, very beautiful helmet, guys.
See,
Must
must I
admit.
show you the QR code
Yeah.
thingy? So there's like a little sticker that if you crash, like they would scan that and say that it's a crashed helmet, it's unfit to race with.
Okay.
It's actually so cool. And like they weigh the helmets as well to make sure that everything is legal. It's an insane experience over there.
So but now you being at Jerez, I mean Jerez is one of my favorites. So that's a bike only
Yes.
track, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
And how was it compared to Italy now going to Spain?
So Imola had like hundreds and thousands of corners. Like I think there's like 23, 24 corners. And like a lot of tie sections where her race was literally so flowing, so fast. There's so many corners that you literally have to be flat out around. I love that track, I must admit. It's just, everything just flows with one another. Where Imola was like kind of like stop, turn, carry on. Yeah.
Long straight, tight corners.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, where her race was just, everything just flowed. And like if you didn't have that flow, you didn't have the pace.
No.
Like you had to find that flow always. And like the bikes there were also insane. So those bikes were all the same bikes, all set up. We used the Blue Crew R3 Cup spikes.
Okay.
So that was for the 300s, and then the R7s, they used the WCR bikes, so the Women's World Championships.
Okay.
So everything we got there, we had to draw numbers for which bike is ours, so everything was fair.
And there you could only change your tire pressure here.
Yeah, so tire pressures, and then you could set your suspension, but like they had a weight chart. So it's like if you were this weight, then you were allowed to change it between these and these, like suspension changes. You weren't allowed to go under or over. Same with tire pressures. It literally depended on your weight.
So
like
they were
you
very
as
much
a rider.
going for the person who could control that bike in that type of riding conditions the best. They're looking for a rider, basically.
Exactly. So what they did is also everything aligned with like power to ratio, because they can't put like a cap on, oh no, you have to be this light or this heavy. So what they did is they used every little thing that you could change. They were like, no, if you're this weight, then you have to do this. If you're this weight, then you have to do that. So it was an even playing field, regardless of your weight. It's just like the changes. Like for me, I struggled with my suspension because I like my suspension a bit softer. And then it's like my weight category, it wasn't allowed to go that soft. So it's like we just tried the minimal weights. But yeah,
unfortunately, that's how you work with their parameters and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So how did that race go for you? I mean, that's obviously in a whole new country.
Oh, it was quite hard at first. Like I struggled to qualify with a race pace. Like, I don't know how some people do it. It's just like my mind doesn't want it. It's like I'm always like 2-3 seconds off pace. So I had a shit qualifying compared to these top riders. So I started right at the back, race 1, first corner, like I dive bombed the first person. And then I was just carrying on, pushing, but they got this high pressures wrong. So what happened was, because that track's so grippy, it chowed through my tires. So by lap 4, like lap 4 to 6, I can't really remember exactly, my back was sliding out of corners everywhere.
Well,
and
you
like
got overheated the tire or what?
Yeah, so the tire was done by that time. So what happened was, like, because you have all these fast corners as well, like it just kept on ripping. And then what happened was the one and only tight section there is. So as I came around, my back slipped out and I was like, okay, cool, it's been doing that, like I can handle it. And then it just continued, hooked, and then threw me straight over. So another big high side. Literally my first high side since that massive crash that I told you about on the 150. Same leg, same everything. So like I kind of lay there and had like a little panic attack. I was like,
pity party.
Literally, I was like, I don't want to go through this again.
No, no more time.
Not again.
And then I heard that you got a surprise when you were there as well. So you flew over.
Oh, yes. So my mom came through. So with Imola, so she never had the money to come through. So this is with the Women's European Cup. So she didn't have, and then the guy Paul who got me the wild card, he paid for his flight. So she messaged me on like the Tuesday or Wednesday. She's like, "No, see you tomorrow." I was like, "Huh? What
Sure.
are you talking about?
Sure, Mom.
I'm in Italy. You're
Yeah.
in South Africa." She's like, "No.
I'm on my way.
I'm on my way." I literally had to call my aunt. I was like, "Is my mom actually coming
I don't
through?"
believe you.
I was so happy because that would have been the first race that she wasn't with me. Like every single race, no matter where I was, she was always watching. And then her race, thankfully, she knew beforehand that she was coming with me. So what happened was her and a friend came through, but they were on holiday. So I literally barely even saw my mom. Like she was there at the track, here and there. There was one day like when I did super bad and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And then like I just needed her there. Like as soon as I saw her, I was like, okay, I can do this.
So, with all these things, you know, you've been now to Jerez, you've been now to Imola.
Yes.
We had a bit of a conversation. You said that you've gotten a few contracts before. Talk us how these contracts work. What does it entail? You know, a lot of people think, oh, contract, everything's paid for, but that's not the truth.
So with overseas rides, so normally you can contact a team, but normally a team would contact you. So they'll send through a proposal. So that's what they call it. So it will list everything that's included with the team. So normally it's the bike fully kitted out. It's depending on the team, it would be tires as well. And then you have 1 to 2 mechanics for your bike, a telemetry guy, and then your team manager. So these people also coach you through everything. So it's like an iffy thing because you always need to read if there's crash damage included. Okay. Because trust me, crash damage is what gets most people. Like, yeah, you get a cheap ride, but then in the end, you have to spend $1 million on crash damage for the year. So then they'll give you a price. So it normally ranges. So for the Women's European Cup, it ranged from 300 to like 800 about. So that was my range. So the 300K one didn't include crash damage. So, you know, once it starts adding on top, it's about the same as the 800K one.
And that was just on the R3, yeah?
Yeah, so R3 as well. So I had a couple of teams from them reach out to me, and then it's like I never had the money to, my mom couldn't, she's single parent, and like sponsors in South Africa is quite hard to get, especially as a female, I would say, because sponsors always want something more. Like, especially because I'm a woman, I've had a lot of sponsors be like, no, if you do this for me, then I will give you that money. Yeah. So it's like, I've never done that and I never will, but it's just like, just dirt in your face type of feeling. So it's like, I always had to say no to rides. And then this year as well, with more rides, I got excited. I had a sponsor lined up 3 days before payment due. They pull out, and I'm like, shit, there goes my racing dream for now. But now I'm on the road. I'm like practicing. I'm doing everything social media wise. Like, you literally have to be your own manager. Yeah. Like, a lot of people over there, like, they have the money to do it. So it's like they pay for social media managers. They do this, they do that, they do everything. But it's like, for you as a person starting from like scratch, it's like, it's so hard to get into. It's like you have to get so much money.
Now, when it comes to do you feel like by rejecting some of these things it hurts you, or it's just not for you?
It does hurt me. It hurts me a lot. Like every year, even this year, like I had a couple of months where I didn't want to race. Like after that happened, I was like, what's the point? Like I'm putting in all this work, everything, and like I'm getting nowhere. So it's like for 2 months, like I kind of stopped racing in a sense. Like I'd still go out, but like I didn't have fun. I was just like, oh, it's too much. It's like overload. Like I need to do this, I need to do that. Like I have to do so many things. And then it's just like your dreams just crash in front of you, and you're like, it hurts me to say no each year.
So that's what I always say. I say again to everyone out there
Yeah.
who's watching. Sponsors is very important, especially for people that want to go race overseas. So if you got the financial income and you can do it, there's plenty of people like Kalani. There's a lady right here who's been representing South Africa and has represented Africa as well, looking for sponsors. And that's whether you're Kalani or overseas. You know, it really comes down to a lot. I mean, every small sponsor, every big sponsor helps. You know, whether it's your race fuel being paid for or your new visor, whatever, it really helps.
Everything helps.
So you obviously did all that now. Now you came back to back at Kalani, and then you're racing now on the 300s and the 650s now.
Yes,
that's what you're currently racing on now.
Yes.
So talk us through that. How are you finding the 650? Because you're on the cover at the moment.
Yes, I'm on the Kawasaki, the ER 650. So actually, I bought the bike the beginning of the year. I saved up my money from working, and I was like, okay, this is the first bike I'm buying on my own, my money, everything. So then we got the bike. I did 2 practice sessions and then a race day. And then the bike was like, no, it needs to, there were bent valves. So we had to go get that done. And it took us 4 months to get everything right on that 650. So it's like, I literally only had those 3 times that I rode the bike. This massive gap. And then last weekend, that was it. So it's like, I'm still learning the bike. I went out for practice today.
I was going to say, when it's your bike and you crash, it's a whole other
Yes, it's a whole other feeling.
And you're like, yo.
You're like, ouch.
As you rolling down or sliding down the track and you're watching your baby slide next to you, like, no. Please be gentle.
Literally, I like looked at the bike. I was like, I don't want to go back into the pits. Uncle Alan's going to kill me. Because he put on like a new fairing, new stickers, new everything.
I spoke to him. He's like, the stickers are one thing. It's just the time. Like, I feel like I'm just losing time.
Literally, I felt so bad. Like, even when they came to pick up my bike, I was like, can you drop me on the other side? Like, I'm too scared to go to those pits now.
So the 300 you're racing main circuit as well?
No.
Only short circuits.
300 short circuit.
And that's you on there on an R3 or what?
Yes.
Okay.
Yamaha R3. So since the beginning of the year, I said because I have the 650, my 300 is my practice bike. So that's where I practice like technique, cornering, everything like that. Like today I went to like a random parking lot and then did cone work. So it's like you work on your skill, your technique with the bike. Like most people do it on 150s, but I like doing it on the 300s. Like it's just so smooth and you like try to find a rhythm of where, okay, I'm doing this wrong. That's why I'm crashing. I actually crashed twice today on the 300, but it's normal for it to happen during cone work because you learn how to feel your front going. You learn how that if your back like starts sliding, what to do. Even today, like I learned so much throttle control that when I went out on my 650, I was like, this is a dream to ride because now I know these little skills and techniques. Like, so that's what I aim for. Like I do both on track training and then off track.
Okay. So yeah, and then like that cone training obviously teaches you a lot with the control and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next question. You being one of the fastest ladies in Kalani on a bike, I'm sure you probably had a lot of guys walking up to you without knowing who you are, giving you a bit of grief, and then you showing on track. Talk us through being a woman in racing.
It is one of the toughest things. A lot of people do put you down. So for me, it's like I kind of learned through crashing, like when I was younger. So it's like a lot of people have that mentality of like, oh no, there goes Abby again. Like she was always crashing. So that did get me a lot at one stage. Like where
but you know the MotoGP saying, right?
Literally, if you don't crash, you're not pushing the limits.
There we go. The saying is, a fast rider can crash and learn to go faster. A rider that doesn't crash will never learn to go faster.
Exactly. That's my thing. So it's like with all these people like saying like, don't crash that much, don't do this, don't do that. It's like it does get to you. Like it got to me like when I was 16, 17. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's like I used to get so scared to go to the track because I was like, I'm a crash again, and then people are going to say the same stuff over.
I'd be crash gate.
Literally, I used to be called crash test dummy.
Look, that happens. I mean, like,
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you put it together and
Exactly.
Yeah, you learn.
But it's the reality. It's like you need to believe in yourself. Like, sorry for my language, but fuck what everyone says.
So tell me, you went to PE, and I know you rocked up there at the track. You did a couple of lap times.
Yes.
And then the boys all came over, were like, who's this girl?
Yeah.
And then they all started giving you, tips and
Yes.
stuff? So
it was so funny. So it's like my first time on the PE main circuit. So I go, I'm like, okay, I test it out. I was riding with the wrong gear ratio. So going down the straights, I'm limiting as well. Like the tires, like they were good, but they weren't the greatest. And my bike was 36 horsepower back then, where 45 horsepower was where most people were. Yeah. So I was heavily underpowered. So I go out for practice. I'm like doing 114. So I'm like, oh, it's not the greatest, but it's fun. It's my first session. Come in. These guys, they didn't see me go out. So they came to me, they were like chatting to me, and they were like, no, like try this on the track, try that. Eventually I like was like, yeah, okay, cool. Like what lap times are you guys doing? They're like 117s. I look at them and I'm like, what are you talking about?
117, so you guys happy with that?
Yeah, and then I went out again, so then they knew that I was on track everywhere. They come off. The one guy comes to me, he's like, yo, your bike is so fast. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's 36 horsepower. He's like, what? My bike's 55 horsepower. And I'm like,
you want to swap?
I'm like, can we swap, please? But yeah, I ended up winning that weekend.
They always say you go to Aldous Cabanti in
Yes.
Port Elizabeth and you come back to Killarney and you're faster.
Yeah, that's 100%. But any away race that I do, it's like, I'll go and it's like as if I learned things. And then I come back and then race here and then I drop like 2 seconds of my best time. And it's insane. Like I love doing away races. Like even though I don't do it often, it's the best.
It's always best. I mean, unfortunately, it's not like rugby. You go play another game in another field down the road. The race tracks are generally quite far away from each other. Yeah.
Who you have 8 hours or 12 hours? You can choose.
You can choose, yeah. So Abby, we're gonna wrap things up here.
Yes.
Please, if there's anything you want to say to anyone out there, your sponsors, your mom, everyone, the camera's yours.
I just want to say a big thank you to Project 60 SA and Atika, and same with Sales High and Kohlberg Hydraulics. They're really the reason I'm still here. They've been supporting me since I was young. And then a big thanks to my mom. Like, she's a superstar. You've made it through so far. Got free trips overseas. So, yeah, I love my mom to bits. And then just to all the lady riders out there, don't let any guy tell you what to do. Like, do your own thing. Be better than them. Because there's no better feeling than beating a man. Let me tell you that. No, but also it's like, if anyone ever needs advice or something when it comes to racing, my DMs on my Instagram is always open. I'm happy to coach, to help out. Even if you have a question, how can you get into racing? I'm there to help. I really, really want more females to get into racing. Like, feel the massive adrenaline rush.
Definitely. I know I'm actually bringing up something in the future. We're going to do some other grabbing yourself. There's another 2 ladies that raced with you.
Yes.
The name's Alma.
Almay.
Yeah,
yes.
and
then
other ladies.
Cody,
yes. So we're going to be doing one in August with you 3 ladies at the track. Just a quick one for women in obviously racing, and obviously with August being Women's Month. We're going to do a little quick video with you guys as well. Probably about 10-15 minutes. And you guys can give it horns, tune all the guys, do whatever you want.
I love
know I'll be there, but we can do a bit of a fun
I can't wait. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Just remember, guys, with Everyday Heroes, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, have a good evening.